Hello students, I am from Biology faculty of QLS Academy. Today we are going to learn about life processes. So students, let's start with our lesson of today. We have discussed nutrition in organism in the last section. The food material taken in during the process of nutrition is used in cells to provide energy for various life processes. In this lesson, we will study about respiration. Now, the process by which a living being utilizes the food to get energy is called as respiration. The process of respiration involves taking in oxygen into the cell, using it for releasing energy by burning food, and then eliminating the waste products, that is carbon dioxide and water, from the body. The process of respiration which releases energy takes place inside the cells of the body. So, it is also known as cellular respiration. Respiration is essential for life because it provides energy for carrying out all the life processes which are necessary to keep the organism alive. Now, how energy released during respiration is stored? The energy produced during respiration is stored in the form of ATP molecules in the cells of the body and used by the organisms as when it is required. ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate, low energy content, inorganic phosphate, and ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, high energy content, are the substances present inside a cell. The energy released during respiration is used to make ATP molecules from ADP and inorganic phosphate. That is, ADP plus phosphate plus energy gives ATP. Thus, energy is stored in the form of ATP. When the cell needs energy, then ATP can be broken down using water to release energy. Thus, ATP gives ADP plus phosphate plus energy. The energy equivalent is 30.5 kilojoules per mole is released in this process. ATP is also known as the energy currency of the cell. Now, what are the types of respiration? We have basically two types of respiration, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. First, let's talk about aerobic respiration. The respiration which uses oxygen is called as aerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, the glucose food is completely broken down into carbon dioxide and water by oxidation. Aerobic respiration produces a considerable amount of energy for use by the organisms which gets stored in the ATP molecules. Glucose gives pyruvate from the glycolysis cycle, which then is converted into 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 38 ATP. Mitochondria are the sites of aerobic respiration in the cells. Thus, the breakdown of pyruvate to give carbon dioxide, water and energy takes place in the mitochondria. Now, what is anaerobic respiration? The respiration which takes place without oxygen is called as anaerobic respiration. The microscopic organisms like yeast and some bacteria obtain energy by anaerobic respiration, which is also called as fermentation. In anaerobic respiration, the microorganisms like yeast break down the glucose into ethanol and carbon dioxide and releases energy. Anaerobic respiration produces much less energy which gets stored in the form of ATP molecules. Sometimes when there is lack of oxygen in our muscle cells, another pathway for the breakdown of pyruvate is taken. Here the pyruvate is converted into lactic acid, which is also a 3-carbon molecule with the release of small amount of energy. Now let's talk about respiration in plants. Respiration in plants is just opposite that of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis ka just opposite is respiration. Exchange of gases takes place in plants through special structures called as stomata. The large intercellular spaces ensure that all cells are in contact with the air. Carbon dioxide and oxygen are exchanged by diffusion here. They can go into the cell or away from them and out into the air. The direction of diffusion depends upon the environmental conditions and the requirements of the plant. At night, when there is no photosynthesis occurring, carbon dioxide elimination is the major exchange activity going on. Now, during the day, carbon dioxide generated during respiration is used up for photosynthesis, hence there is no CO2 release. Instead, oxygen release is the major event at this time. Now, let's talk about respiration in animals. Animals have evolved different organs for the uptake of oxygen from the environment and for getting rid of the carbon dioxide produced. Terrestrial animals can breathe oxygen in the atmosphere, but animals that live in water need to use the oxygen dissolved in water. Since the amount of dissolved oxygen is fairly low compared to the amount of oxygen in the air, the rate of breathing in aquatic organisms is much faster than that seen in terrestrial organisms. Fishes take in water through their mouth and forces it past the gills, where the dissolved oxygen is taken by the blood. Terrestrial organism uses the oxygen in the atmosphere for respiration. In human beings, many organs take part in the process of respiration. These organs are called as organs of respiratory system. The main organs of the human respiratory system are nose, nasal passage, trachea, that is the windpipe, bronchi, lungs and diaphragm. In humans, respiratory system begins from the nose. The air then goes into the nasal passage. The nasal passage is lined with the fine hair and mucus. When air passes through the nasal passage, the dust particles and other impurities present in it are trapped by the nasal hair and mucus so that the clean air goes into the lungs. The part of throat between the mouth and the windpipe is called as pharynx. From the nasal passage, air enters into the pharynx and then goes into the windpipe. Trachea does not collapse even when there is no air in it because it is supported by the rings of soft bones called as cartilages. The trachea runs down the neck and divides into two smaller tubes called as bronchi at its lower end. The bronchi are connected to the two lungs. The lungs lie in the chest cavity or the thoracic cavity, which is separated from the abdominal cavity by a muscular partition called as diaphragm. Each bronchus divides in the lungs to form a large number of still smaller tubes called as bronchioles. The pouch-like air sacs at the end of the smallest bronchioles are called as alveoli. The walls of alveoli are very thin and they are surrounded by very thin blood capillaries. It is in the alveoli that gaseous exchanges takes place. Now, what is the mechanism of respiration? When we breathe in, we lift our ribs and flatten our diaphragm, and the chest cavity becomes larger as a result. Because of this, air is sucked into the lungs and fills the expanded alveoli. The alveoli are surrounded by thin blood vessels called as capillaries carrying blood in them. So, the oxygen of the air diffuses out from the alveoli walls into the blood. Oxygen is carried by blood to all the parts of the body. As the blood passes through the tissues of the body, the oxygen present in it diffuses into the cell. The oxygen combines with the digested food present in the cell to release energy. Carbon dioxide gas is produced as a waste product during respiration in the cells of the body tissues. This carbon dioxide diffuses into the blood. Blood carries the carbon dioxide back to the lungs where it diffuses into the alveoli. When we breathe out air, the diaphragm and muscles attached to the ribs relaxes, due to which our chest cavity contracts and becomes smaller. This contraction movement of the chest pushes out carbon dioxide from the alveoli of lungs into the trachea, nostrils, then out of the body into the air. Carbon dioxide is more soluble in water than oxygen is, hence is mostly transported in the dissolved form in our blood. So students, this was all about the life processes. I hope you all enjoyed learning this lesson, and if you have any more doubts, you can go to the following link.